We do that because we do SS7 security tests, so we need to be in a similar position as real hackers to get near real results.
So step 1, infiltrate SS7 is complete. On to step 2, gain trust. Hackers today can try many different things once they've scaled the wall into the garden, but you need more than just SS7 access and a phone number to attack. Even a trusted GT and the phone number of the target isn't enough to uniquely identify them. No, you need something from the SIM card. The real key in a mobile network is a unique 15-digit identifier which belongs exclusively to the SIM card on the phone. It's called an International Mobile Subscriber Identity, or IMSI for short, and it is very important.
Basically, to be able to collect the IMSI from a subscriber, we would launch some of the messages such as send routing info or send routing info for SL. These messages are normally used to collect the IMSI.
Networks have firewalls in place that will deny some requests if they look suspicious. Getting an IMSI is crucial to appear trusted. So let's move on to the critical step 3, attack. Do you want to just like try the phone? Is there anything you can try to see if it works? Like call someone or text someone?
Sure, I'll call my wife.
She normally pick up?
Yeah, she'll probably pick up.
Hello?
Hello, Yvonne. This is the voice of your husband. I would like to talk to you about the payment.
Okay, thanks.
No, it's me.
Did she hang up on you?
Yeah, she did. So we've established the phone works as a completely normal phone.
Do you have any important calls coming up?
I don't know if I'd say it's important, but I'm on my way to Creator Summit tonight, and James from Hacksmith was going to call me, and we're going to kind of make some plans.
I'm getting a call right now. Are you going to call?
No.
Hello, this is Linus.
Hey, Lance, it's James. How's it going?
It's going really well. How are you?
Pretty good. Am I going to see the YouTube summit?
Yes, I'm really looking forward to that. Man, do I hate Macs. So I feel like that's your persona, man. You can't game on a Mac. Linus, you want to talk?
I would like to talk, but I never got the call, so...
What number did you dial?
4473.
Is that your number, Linus?
Yeah, but I didn't get... mine didn't even ring. I heard it ring, but I heard it through my speakers on my computer, because I assume it went to your phone then.
That's
Or
right.
did it go to your computer?
No, yeah, it went to everything of mine. So, yeah, James, I don't know. You called Linus, and it went to me. Thank you for taking part in this weird demonstration.
There is absolutely nothing here to indicate that I was supposed to receive a call.
Yeah. And I mean, the crazy thing is that's like a regular Canadian SIM card in there. So any Canadian SIM card, in theory, could be vulnerable to such an attack, where, you know, someone dials your number and it just doesn't go to you.
This is like phreaking, but on a completely different level.
That's exactly it.
Now, I'm familiar already with the concept of SIM swapping, where you social engineer a way to get a SIM that is registered to someone else's account. We've actually had accounts stolen that way in the past. But in this case, my phone still works.
Hello?
Hey, so the demo we're doing is pretty trippy, hun. Basically, they had Hacksmith call me. My phone didn't ring at all. And instead, Derek from Veritasium picked up the phone call and was able to talk to him. And Hacksmith had no idea that he called me. And then...
Sorry, I'm with Cindy.
Hi, Cindy.
Oh, you're not on speaker.
Okay, that's fine. Just tell Cindy hi for me.
Okay, bye.
So how are we able to seize control of Linus's number like that?
When you put a phone number in your address book, you often don't put the country code, but then if you're in a roaming scenario, that phone number would connect to a completely different person in the country you're currently in. So it does make sense to basically overrule people's choices as to whom they're trying to dial, because they're not going to triple check each time whether their address book entries have country codes in them.
This is a powerful function. By tricking the network into thinking his phone is roaming, we can rewrite the number he is calling to a number that we control.
And so what I did at the end was when I received this message, I sent back your number that you can see here was your US-based number. So even if you were located in Australia, I was still able to forward the call to you on your US number in Australia.
That's amazing. You just try a few times and then it works, right?
Yes. It's not always that simple, but this time it was quite difficult.
So the most important question I have now then is, what did you need to steal from me in order to become me? Like, is this something you can social engineer out of my carrier? Is this something that I would need to accidentally leak a screenshot of my IMEI?
At the very simplest, all we would need is your phone number. That's it. You could even do something where I could act as a middleman, where I would reroute the call to me, but also simultaneously I would dial for you the real number and I would send you through to them. And then I can sit on the line and just record that call.
Yikes.
But this isn't the only attack. We can do a lot more with SS7. We can also intercept text messages as part of our suite of attacks. Similar to phone calls, we can trick the network into thinking the target is roaming, which reroutes their messages to our GT. We can then steal one-time passwords used in two-factor authentication. This type of attack works until the subscriber interacts with their phone network, at which point the phone reconnects to the correct GT.
But you need a few seconds only to hack into somebody's account, of course. You need that few second window to receive the one-time password.
So we actually set up a new Linus YouTube channel.
Okay, so theoretically, he could get this username and password via a dump because I'm a butthead and I use the same username and password across different accounts, or he could install a keylogger on my system. He could get it that way when I'm typing it in. So then I verify my number, but of course he has my number because that's realistically not that hard to find. And theoretically, I'm supposed to get a two-factor code right now, except...
I got it. 820299. I'm in.
He's in. He hacked the mainframe. Wild, hey?
Yep, we can hack your YouTube account. I'm going to start posting science videos on Linus Tech Tips.
Oh, that's okay. I'm sure they'll get like 30 million views or whatever, so I'll be fine with it. Thanks for the AdSense.
Deal. And you can see the code right there.
Exact. So you could see it at the bottom, 820299. So basically, once the interception is running, then I would receive any SMS sent.
He would never have known that he missed those messages or that they were intercepted.
Exact.
Wow. Yeah, this seems pretty serious. I mean, SMS two-factor authentication is almost the default, right?
Unfortunately, yes. It's not only the default, but in some cases it is the only available option. And sometimes that can even be for accounts that should be treated with the utmost of care, like a bank account.
There's a third method of attack that we weren't able to show Linus. Lucky for him, his network blocked the requests. On many networks, you can use the IMSI number and the switching center info we harvested in step 2 to send a command deeper into the network. By targeting the switching center where the device with the IMSI is connected, we can issue a command routinely used for legitimate purposes, such as routing and forwarding calls or providing emergency services based on the device's location. Using this request, we can track a target's location. It's not as hard as you'd think. SS7 doesn't even rely on GPS to locate someone. In fact, it was invented before GPS was even in public use. One way to do this is if a target is in range of multiple cell towers, their location can be narrowed down to where the signals overlap. The more towers in range, the more precise the location. A more accurate method measures the time it takes for signals to reach a phone from 3 towers. By calculating the distance based on transmission speed, we can pinpoint an exact location on a 2D plane. But SS7 attacks don't use either of these methods. They try to be subtle. An SS7 location request simply identifies the cell tower the target is connected to. In an urban area with many towers, this can place them to within 100 meters.
You'll definitely know which city block somebody is in, and if you wanted to, for instance, find out was it at home or at work, this is a great way to do it.
Yeah, that's it's a little bit scary.
In 2016, Karsten and his team used this method to track US Congressman Ted Lieu.
The congressman has been in California, more specifically the LA area. Let's zoom in here a little bit.
So that is how we did it. We executed 3 steps. We infiltrated SS7, gained trust, and attacked. We intercepted Linus's phone calls and text messages. I'm not sure he was as excited about it as I was.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Up until now, this has just been a bit of fun. I've demonstrated these attacks on a friend of mine. But the threats are real, and they can have devastating consequences. They will kill her, the captain texted shortly before Latifah was abducted. His phone was the target of an SS7 attack that involved all 3 of the steps we explored. To start, the attackers had leased multiple GTs in different countries. Then the following all happened in a 5-minute window. First, they sent at least 7 separate requests aiming to get the captain's IMSI from his US-based operator. When that didn't seem to work, they followed up with at least 4 location requests. So, did it work? Well, all of these requests were blocked by firewalls. That's why we have all the details. But there was a 6th GT we haven't shown, this one nearby in the US. We have no information about the requests on this GT because they likely weren't stopped. We spoke with Crofton Black, the investigative journalist who revealed the SS7 exploits in this story, and this is what he told us. It's a brilliant example of SS7 involvement because it illustrates a classic, sophisticated pattern of attack. Multiple GTs in multiple countries, it's a textbook example of telco penetration risks. Though because the Emiratis were also using other software like Pegasus and other hardware like spotter planes, we can't say that any single one of these was the thing that led to her being found. But the evidence is damning, and SS7 is used pretty widely. Criminals have used SS7 to intercept SMS two-factor authentication codes and empty millions of dollars from bank accounts. For some, SS7 is just the first step. The NSO Group, a notorious Israeli cyber surveillance firm, acquired an SS7 tracking company in 2014. NSO is the company behind Pegasus, a spyware tool that gains complete access to targeted phones without a user clicking anything, embedding itself and erasing traces of entry. Such zero-click hacks are costly. They can cost more than $4 million per exploit. Before NSO commits resources targeting specific software or vulnerabilities on a phone, first they gather basic data, like device type and software version, to make their lives easier. And as you've seen with SS7, this isn't hard. One expert we spoke to tested a foreign network and found 20 to 30 VIPs were constantly under surveillance there, including the country's chief of cybersecurity. Accurate data on tracking is difficult to come by, but another expert provided evidence of more than 2.5 million tracking attempts per year, though they reminded us that the people being targeted are generally those of interest to state agencies. Now, we couldn't find data on interception attempts, but luckily experts told us this is far less common. So millions of malicious SS7 requests are sent each year, but it used to be even worse. To request location over SS7, you used to be able to send a command without even knowing the IMSI, and the network would just provide it to you, no questions asked.
The classical example is the anytime interrogation request, which, as the name already suggests, is have a creepy command. I don't believe there's ever legitimate purpose for one network to send this command to another network interrogating about their customers.
Karsten Knoll and fellow security researcher Tobias Engel exposed these vulnerabilities publicly in 2014.
The SS7 research that was disclosed in 2014 was a wake-up call to the industry. Most people had heard rumors that SS7 tracking and spying was possible, but they hadn't really seen hard evidence of it, and especially how easy it is. That a ragtag gang of hackers from Berlin with very amateur means can do any type of SS7 hacking that they want.
After the conference, all of the German telcos immediately started refusing these requests.
Anytime interrogation is the first SS7 command everyone stopped because it was abused a lot and never used constructively, but there is over 150 other messages that need to be stopped as well to make SS7 be completely secure.
So if there are so many ways to abuse SS7, why haven't we gotten rid of it? Well, because it's the backbone of 2G and 3G communications. So what if we phase out 2G and 3G? Well, that has caused problems. Since 2018, cars in the EU are equipped with mandatory emergency call buttons that trigger in an accident. They need a SIM card to work. And to cut costs, guess what auto manufacturers are using? That's right, 2G and 3G SIM cards using SS7.
Have to have that legacy support, or when 4G connectivity drops, you have absolutely nothing left. Dude, the number of times that I'm on 3G, not insignificant. And I'm in a metropolitan area.
What's surprising, of course, is that there hasn't been a global push yet to replace SS7 with one of the 2 newer versions of the technology, the latest of which that was introduced with 5G, seems pretty secure, but that's now a problem of first mover disadvantage. So because of the network effect, you get nothing out of adopting a technology as the first guy. You want to be the last one when everyone else is already connected, and you get the full benefit from also joining the club.
So even though the 5G signaling protocol can stop the attacks completely, and many networks are using 5G technology on their networks, when routing calls between networks, SS7 is still the de facto standard.
You create a tremendous amount of inertia, to use a term that's probably more your channel than my channel, that makes moving on extremely difficult.
So unless there's some new major events that put us back on the public radar, it could be another 10, 15, maybe even 20 years until SS7 networks are finally switched off.
What's crazy is that we exploited these vulnerabilities, and I'm just a YouTuber. I did have the help of some excellent security researchers, but I'm surprised at how easy it all is. Now imagine if I had the backing of a government. This is a real problem. So what can you do to protect yourself? On the personal side, as long as you have a SIM card, unfortunately there's not much you can do about location tracking. If possible, choose alternatives to SMS-based two-factor authentication, so messages can't be intercepted. Use an authenticator app or hardware tokens. And if you're worried about phone tapping, use encrypted internet-based calling services like Signal or WhatsApp. We've been told this is mainly used on people of interest, so should it really matter to you?
SS7 is a huge privacy intrusion, and there's millions of abuse cases every single month. Whether privacy intrusion is a problem for everyone individually, of course, is almost a philosophical question, right? Somebody who grew up more in the Berlin tradition of the Chaos Computer Club, like myself, strongly believes that privacy and the ability to kind of form your own thoughts without being observed is a prerequisite for democracy, but many other people would argue nothing to hide, nothing to fear.
Our technological world will never be perfect. By the time we secure or replace SS7, vulnerabilities will already have been found in the new system. But luckily, there's an easy way to be ready for whatever the future holds. Build your knowledge and problem-solving skills a little bit every day.